I'm Plus Infinite, and today I'd like to talk about Speedroid Terrortop and the Armored Xyz Engine in Super Quants. Let's check it out. Before I get started, I have to give a big thanks to everybody who placed a pre-order for the custom mat and field center. I've closed the pre-orders and I'll be shipping them out before the end of May. If you missed your chance, don't worry, I think you'll get another in the near future. For now, thank you all so much for your support. Now back to the video. Released last year in the TCG and last month in Master Duel, the Armored Xyz cards we'll be talking about today consist of 3 new Xyz monsters and 2 new spell and trap cards. Although it may not be obvious at first, after watching this video I think you'll agree these cards are unquestionably a form of indirect support for Super Quants. First, this engine gives us a way to bait our opponent's hand traps early. It will often give us a draw, which is a welcome boost to consistency, and it adds another powerful option for our end board. In fact, having access to this engine can transform a hand with only Alphan and 4 hand traps from a dead hand into a powerful interruption. Plus, there's one more cool trick it offers us that feels like direct Super Quant support, but I'll show you that at the end of the video. If that wasn't enough, we also have a great way to get into this engine, Speedroid Terrortop. Recently unlimited in the TCG and already unlimited in Master Duel, this powerful card can create a rank 3 all on its own, without using your normal summon. It specials itself for free if you have no monsters, which does conflict with Red Lair, though you will always prefer to summon Terrortop. On summon, it searches Takatomborg, which can summon itself if you control a wind monster. Takatomborg is a soft garnet since you don't want to draw it, but drawing it doesn't kill the combo. Plus, it can still summon itself as a level 3 body if you have Green Lair on field. Because Terrortop can create powerful rank 3 negates like Gossip Shadow or Totem Bird, it can often serve as a bait for a hand trap like Ash or Imperm. Since if your opponent doesn't respond, they may just have to deal with an extra negate anyways, so they are forced to respect it. The cool thing is, even if Terrortop gets negated, it still summons itself as a level 3 body, so as long as we get another level 3 on board at some point, like E-Telly for Blue Layer or White Layer sending blue, or even the level 3 dangers, we can still use Terrortop as a stepping stone to get into a rank 3 play, long before we commit our normal summon. With all that out of the way, let me demonstrate a basic combo. For this first one, I'll start with Terrortop, but in a moment I'll show you how you can mate the same combo using Alphan as well. First, we'll special Terrortop and activate its effect, searching Takatomborg, which will then summon itself. Now we can overlay for the rank 3 Xyz Armor Torpedo. This card allows us to get a draw by detaching 2 materials, giving us a nice boost in consistency. Then we can use a rank 3 or 4 we control to go into Xyz Armor Fortress. Fortress allows us to detach up to 2 materials to search for that many Armored Xyz cards. There are 2 possible targets, the trap and the spell. The trap has much more utility in general, though there are times when the spell can be useful too. In Super Quants, you'll typically just run the trap. Xyz Armor Fortress can't be used for an Xyz summon unless it has no materials, so if we want to rank up Xyz Armor Fortress again later into Dark Knight Lancer for example, we need to make sure it has 0 materials. In this case, since we used Xyz Armor Torpedo's effect earlier, now we only have 1 material on Fortress. So we can detach the 1 material to search the trap, Full Armored Xyz. From here, if we're going first, we can set the trap and pass our turn. Next turn, we'll use Full Armored Xyz to rank up Fortress into Dark Knight Lancer. Then, we can use Full Armored Xyz's Grave effect to banish itself and target an Xyz we control and equip a different Xyz from our field or grave to it as an equip spell. While it's treated as an equip spell, that monster gives its attack to the monster it's equipped to. Also, if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, the equip spell is destroyed instead. Note that this is not optional. I once had someone steal my Lancer and try to destroy it using Vanadium effects, but since they couldn't actually destroy the monster, it thwarted their plays. This sounds great, sure, but is that really all? Well, it turns out that Dark Knight Lancer has a trigger effect. When any monster you control becomes equipped with an equip card, even if it's a different monster, Lancer can attach an opponent's monster to itself non-targeting. This is an incredible non-destruction form of removal and can stop a lot of plays when your opponent least expects it. Some great targets might include Promethean Princess after your opponent links and before it can revive a monster, Yubel before it can be destroyed, Unchained Soul of Rage, or IP when it tries to link, since it needs to use itself, Pure Lily when it tries to Xyz summon, and so much more. By the way, Lancer gains 300 attack per material and equip card it has. This alone provides a threatening interruption all off of one card, but that's still not all. Both Torpedo and Fortress have additional effects when they're treated as equip cards. Torpedo makes it so the equipped monster cannot be targeted by your opponent's effects, and when it battles, your opponent can't activate any cards or effects until the end of the damage step, and all monsters they control have their effects negated. And Fortress doubles the battle damage when the equipped monster battles another monster. Once it becomes your turn again, you can use these effects to tip the scales against your opponent, all without ever having played a single Super Quant card. Speaking of, now let me go over the combo with Alphan. If you've never seen Super Quantal Fairy Alphan before, you might look at it and think it's a poorly designed starter for a long-forgotten archetype. And you'd be right. One day Super Quants will get support. One day. But for now, let me show you how you can use Alphan to always generate a rank 3 using your normal summon. First, we'll normal summon Alphan. Then, we can activate its effect, tributing itself for cost, to reveal blue, red, and white. Now, Alphan will randomly summon one of these 3 cards, and the other 2 will go to graves, but the result will always be a rank 3. Now let me show you how that works. If White Layer is summoned, then you can activate White Layer's effect as Chainlink 1, and then Red Layer's effect as Chainlink 2 targeting blue in the grave to summon it back. When White Layer's effect resolves, you can send a second copy of Blue Layer from the deck to turn White Layer into a level 3 water. With that, you'll be able to overlay both into Xyz Armor Torpedo. Then you can use Torpedo's effect to detach and draw one. Now, just like before, we can rank up Torpedo into Fortress and detach Torpedo searching full Armored Xyz to do the same play as before. If Red Layer is summoned, then you'll activate Red Layer as Chainlink 1, targeting White Layer in the grave to add it back to your hand. White Layer can be Chainlink 2 to grab Alphan from your grave or deck back to your hand, giving you discard fodder or just an extra card in your hand and follow up for next turn. Once the Chainlink resolves, you'll have White Layer and an Alphan in your hand. Then you can use White Layer to send the Red Layer onto your field to the grave to summon itself. Now you'll be in the same position as if White had been summoned. White will be Chainlink 1 to send a Super Quant from the deck and copy its level and attribute, and then Red will be Chainlink 2 targeting Blue to summon it back from the grave. White will resolve, sending second Blue, and you can overlay into Xyz Armor Torpedo. If Blue Layer is summoned, we'll activate Blue Layer's effect as Chainlink 1, searching for the Super Quant Field spell. Then, we can activate White effect as Chainlink 2 to grab Alphan from our grave or deck back to our hand, giving us discard fodder. Then, we can activate Red's effect to target White in the grave and special summon it back as Chainlink 3. This effect is optional, but it does give you an extra body on your board. Once you've resolved the chain, you can activate the field spell and discard a card in your hand. In this case, you can either use the Alphan that White Layer just got you, or you can save the Alphan for next turn and use a different card in your hand. Either way, you'll target the Blue Layer and then make the Blue Mech. The Blue Mech Grand Pulse might be familiar to some of you who have played in past eras of Yu-Gi-Oh! Its effect allows us to detach and target a spell trap to destroy it. In this example, I have to destroy the field spell, but if you have another spell or trap that you can spare, I would recommend setting it. That way you can keep the field spell and use it to make White Layer into Lusterect later, which acts as an imperm-like monster negate. For this example though, we'll be destroying the field spell, leaving Grand Pulse with no materials. Then we can overlay Fortress over Grand Pulse and detach it to search for full Armored Xyz. Now that about does it for the combos, but before I go, I want to explain one last thing that I had mentioned earlier. Earlier I said that there's one more cool trick that this engine can offer us that feels like direct Super Quant support. The reason I say that is because Full Armored Xyz reminds me of a Super Quant card called Super Quantal Mech Sword Magnus Slayer. That card is basically an equipped trap that equips to a Super Quant Xyz monster and boosts its attack by its rank times 100. Since Magnus is unaffected by card effects except for Super Quant cards, this card used to be the only way to boost Magnus's attack, bringing it up to a respectable 4800, although I know some cards played in popular decks today that could surpass even that. So, this brings us back to full Armored Xyz. One of the interesting things about this card is it actually turns the monster into an equipped spell. For example, if we activate Magnus's non-target shuffle effect, attaching a Super Quant mech specifically, we can then banish full Armored Xyz, targeting Magnus, to equip it with that same Super Quant mech. Now, because the equipped spell is a Super Quant card, you'll actually gain all the effects of the equipped spell. This means you'll get 2700 attack, putting Magnus at 6300 attack. If they somehow manage to beat over the 6300 attack Magnus, then the other effect of the equipped spell will activate, meaning that it will be destroyed instead of Magnus. So they'll still have to beat over a 3600 attack towers before they can get to your life points. And even if they do, Magnus has a graveyard effect to special summon back the 3 smaller mechs to your field to defend your life points. And there you have it. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching to the end of the video. This video couldn't have been possible without the help of the amazing folks over in the Super Quant Discord. You can join using the link below. If you liked the video, let me know what you think in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, I've been Plus Infinite. Thanks so much for watching. Stay cool, take care, and have a good rest of your day.
Hello, viewers! It's me, Super Quantum Fairy Alphan. You're watching Plus Infinite. Subscribe for more Super Quantum content. Aye, 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 aye.